Ian Redhead, also known as Flyers, of Hillsborough Street, who resided at Melville Street and Archibald Avenue, St. George's, son of the late Betha and Pat Redhead, passed away on Friday, 11th March 2022, at the age of 63. He was well known as the founder and editor of Tackle Sports magazine. He is survived by his devoted wife Deborah, children Ian Dikoto, Zaya Bourne, Adayinka and Oksana Redhead, proud grandfather of Ziana, Zuri and Zacharias, daughter-in-law Rocio Mota Dikoto, dearly missed by his siblings Rosamond residing in England and Nigeria, Annette and Patty residing in Grenada, Margaret also known as Git, the late Adrian also known as Pencil, Gordon also known as Police, and John also known as Pussy residing in the United States, and Trevor also known as Bessie residing in Canada. He will be lovingly remembered by his mother-in-law Yvonne Alexander, father-in-law Lloyd Alexander, many nieces, nephews, sisters-in-law and brothers-in-law, other relatives including the Charles, Hopkin and Marichaux families, close friend of Sammy Braffett and family, and Raphael Arthur in the United States, Ruggles and Tammy Ferguson, Nazim Burke, Merle and Jeffrey Bayer, Randolph Peters and family, Nurse Clouden and family, Clem John, Margaret Matushek, Noel Thomas in Canada, and other loved ones. The funeral service for the late Ian Redhead, also known as Flyers, of Hillsborough Street, who resided at Melville Street and Archibald Avenue, St. George's, will take place on Wednesday, April 6th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception, St. George's, and interment will be at the Top Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
Velma Ada Murray of Monterey St. Patrick, who resided at Grenville Street, St. George, passed away on Friday, 4th March, at the age of 71. She was the mother of Joyce Murray Allen, also known as Verna in the USA, Jerry Murray, Nigel Murray, and Louise Murray, grandmother of Brandon Murray, Kenny Allen, and Kai Murray in the USA, Danielle Patris, Shimron Millett, Shanika Regis, and Lamont Murray, sister of Patricia Belgrave, Stafford Murray, Michael Murray, Glenna Evans in Trinidad, Yolande Ledlow, Terrence Ruby, and Ricky Murray, mother-in-law of Isona Regis, and Rodnisha Joseph Murray, aunt of 23 including Paul Belgrave, Josanne Murray, Rhea Murray, Nola Murray, Shannon and Shakima Ledlow, Nadine Paul and Jarrell Murray, grand aunt of 43, niece of Priscilla Smart, Osbert Charles and Pat Lynn, sister-in-law of Bobby Lynn Murray, Joseph Ledlow, Yvonne Murray, Anthony Evans, numerous cousins, other relatives and friends including Merlin David in the USA, Edward and Merrill Lord, Mr. and Mrs. Allen in the USA, the Smart, Julian, Murray and Mungo families, Cindy Phillip, Pansy Barito, Maggie Pearl, Daphne, Anne Merriman, Peggy, Juliet Ducoto, staff of GCNA, friends and neighbors of Montreach St. Patrick and Grenville Street, St. George. The funeral service of the late Velma Ada Murray of Montreach St. Patrick, who resided at Grenville Street, St. George, will take place on Thursday, 7th April at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Archibald Avenue, St. George's, and entombment will be at the St. George's Center Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lockwar Brothers Funeral Home.
Sebastian Francis Richardson, also known as Sibo, of Tivoli St. Andrew, a well-known farmer, passed away on Monday, 14th March 2022, at the age of 62. He was the father of 5, Kester, Tessa in Canada, Alona residing in Trinidad, Jamal and Shebi. 6 brothers including Augustine residing in the USA and Lawson residing in Canada. 5 sisters including Ennis, Jocelyn residing in the USA, and Teresa residing in Canada. Grandfather of 6, Norrell, Jonathan, Carlton, Janaya, Shiloh, and Kimora. Great-grandfather of 2, son-in-law of John. Uncle of many including Reginald and Evans residing in the United Kingdom, Perlin, Alwyn, Kendall and Lynthia residing in the USA, Claudette residing in Canada, Garvin, Kelly, Enzo, Agnes, Jerry, Royan, Patricia, Rasta Sweet, Lean Wall and Kelson. Other relatives and friends including the Richardson family of Monkridge, the Mann family of Shantimel, and close friends of Tivoli, La Poterie and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Sebastian Francis Richardson, also known as Sibo of Tivoli St. Andrew, will take place on Thursday, April 7th at 2 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Tivoli Roman Catholic Church and interment will be at the Tivoli Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. George Ferguson, also known as Kester and Reed of Shantimel St. Patrick, former principal of the Shantimel RC School, passed away on Sunday, March 13, 2022, at the age of 73. He is survived by his children Kels and Jenna Ferguson in Grenada and Desna Ferguson in the USA, adopted daughter Hazel Ann, close and dear friend Evis Logie, grandchildren Omari and Yuri Ferguson in Grenada and Shia Ferguson in the USA, brothers Andrew and Adrian Frame, Norman and Charles Ferguson in Grenada, Desmond in the USA, and Bruce Ferguson in Scotland, sisters Christine Mukram in Grenada and Jocelyn in Trinidad, nieces and nephews Neil Ferguson, Barney, Avina, Sean, Charlene, Tamara, Tamar, Rondell, Vandel, Akeem, Corporal Nigel Hutchinson, Chanel and Rachel. Other relatives and friends including Jim Alexander, Dr. Kellen Belfon, Ricky Barry, Terran Phillip in England, Marcus and Clinton Bailey, the Frame, Batiste, Logie and Ferguson families, the Dupre family of Grove, past teachers and students of the Shantimel RC School and Grand Roy Government School, and friends of Shantimel, Satez and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late George Ferguson, also known as Kester and Reed, of Shantimel St. Patrick, will take place on Thursday, April 7th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Patrick RC Church and interment will be at the Marley Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Teresa Smith, also known as Farmo of Telescope St. Andrew, passed away on Thursday, 17th March 2022, at the age of 84. She was the mother of Alban Joseph, Greta Joseph, and Claudia Marichaux, adopted mother of Andrew Hastick, sister of Anne Richardson, also known as Annis, grandmother of Wayne Marichaux, Adrian Marichaux, Glendon Joseph, Junior Joseph, and Garrick John, sister-in-law of Claudius Richardson, aunt of many including Cynthia MacDonald, Una Williams, Claudette, Lindy Ann, Thomas, Martin, and Desmond, cousin of Raymond Phillip, Mary Clark, and Crystalline Dallow Joseph. Many other relatives and close friends, including Juliana Fletcher and family, Nellis Charles of Nunparel, Eva of Grandbra, the Pear family of Paraclete, the Joseph family of Tivoli, the Smith family of Carrier, Anastasia Marcel and family, the Hastick family, Theodora Frederick, Mercy Decoto and family, parishioners of St. Andrew the Apostle RC Church Grenville, and friends and neighbours of Telescope and Carrier St. Andrew. The funeral of the late Teresa Smith, also known as Farmo, of Telescope St. Andrew, will take place on Thursday, April 7th at 2 p.m. Funeral service will be held at St. Andrew the Apostle RC Church Grenville, and interment will be at the Tivoli Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Leonard Abraham Gludd, also known as Tawe, of Bellevue St. David, passed away on Saturday, 19th March 2022, at the age of 68. He was the brother of Phyllis Cador, Lucy Lett, and Shirley George, brother-in-law of Carlton Cador, uncle of many including Jenny George, Michelle Macmillan, Betty George, Ruby Lett, Anne-Marie and Donalyn Gludd, Irvin, Sherman and Patrick George, Emile and Carly Cador, Richard and Norman Gludd, nephew of Ossie Macmillan and Agnes George. Many cousins, other relatives and friends including Veron Andrew, Maureen Gludd, Michael Lewis, the Huggins and Latouche families of Pomerose, Mrs. Sheila Telesford, Jude Francis, the boys at Teacher Mary's and Michael Shop, past members of Jar Jar Children, Alban Sodalet, John Chancey Gilbert, and friends and neighbours of Bellevue, Apretut, Thebaid and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Leonard Abraham Gludd, also known as Tarware of Bellevue St. David, will take place on Friday, April 8th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Immaculate Conception and St. Joseph St. David, and interment will be at the St. David's Catholic Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Bertrand Joseph Primus of Tophill Carriacou passed away on Thursday, 17th March 2022, at the age of 73. He was the father of Mary McFarlane, also known as Annie, Carlson and Treason Primus, grandfather of Alicia, Alston and Nadia Edwards and Alison Primus, great-grandfather of Antoine, Iggeson and A.J. Edwards, brother of Dorothy Marsh, father-in-law of Alfred McFarlane and Melita Wilson Primus, uncle of many in England, Grenada and Carriacou, close friend of many in the United Kingdom, Grenada and Carriacou. Close relatives and friends the Primus, Edwards and Duncan families, Margaret, Steve and Michael, Margaret de Bellet and family, Lorna Montrose and family, and neighbours of Tophill and Bunkroyal Carriacou and surrounding areas, too numerous to mention. The funeral of the late Bertrand Joseph Primus of Tophill Carriacou will take place on Friday, April 8th at 2 p.m. at the St. Patrick's Roman Catholic Church, Hillsborough, Carriacou, and interment will be at the Brunswick Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Ambrose Emmanuel Sylvester, also known as Boulay of Molyneux St. George, passed away on Wednesday, 23rd March 2022, at the age of 96. He was the grandfather of Jeremiah Harris and Charlene Harris, great-grandfather of Tasheen, Michael, Keturah, Rachel, Jeremiah and Nehemiah Harris, Shanna and Noriah West, Elijah Harris, Shemaiah and Shemuel Harris, Micaiah Harris and Jemiah Crowder, great-great-grandfather of Micaiah and Micah Harris, special cousin Rhonda Sylvester. Other relatives and friends including the Harris, Lewis, Nicholas and Sylvester families, Makeda Hines, and friends and neighbours of Molyneux and surrounding areas. The body of the late Ambrose Emmanuel Sylvester, also known as Boulay of Molyneux St. George, will be cremated. A memorial service will be held at the Garden of Remembrance Funeral Chapel, Cemetery Hill St. George's on Tuesday, April 12th at 1 p.m. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Lucy James Smith, also known as Mildred Smith, of Boca St. George, died on Thursday, 24th March 2022, at the age of 77. Left to mourn are her 9 children, Mrs. Rosalind Francis, Pamela Antoine, Daniel, Darren, Eric, Alice Ann and Gillian Smith in Grenada, Jacintha and Yolande Smith in the USA, son-in-law Junior Francis, 19 grandchildren including Marlon, Crystal and Quasi Francis, Alicia, Codell, Jaden, Giuliani and Ashley Smith, Michelle Otley, Reggie, Darren and Akita McSweet, 8 great-grandchildren, sisters Mary Weeks and Elizabeth Smith, brother Alexander Smith, brother-in-law John Smith, sister-in-law Maria Smith, many nieces and nephews including Maria Bennett, Brenda Lee Antwine, Uriel Smith, Helen, Derek, Eric and Little J. Other relatives and friends including cousin Maud, Ethelyn Frederick, Agneta Modeste, Merlin Redhead, Virginia Joseph, Catherine Jones, Barbara, Elma, Sheriel, Bernard and Carlton James, Jocelyn Daniel, Sandra Paul, Paula Smith, Mr. Willard, Linda Batiste and Bernadette Wilson, the Smith, Weeks, Noel, Antwine, Raymond and Julian families of Boca, the James, Cador and Antwine families of Lamode, the pastors and members of the Boca New Testament Church of God, and friends and neighbours of Boca, Lamode and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Lucy James Smith, also known as Mildred Smith, of Boca St. George, will take place on April 12th at 1 p.m. at the Boca New Testament Church of God, and interment will be at the family cemetery Sanco Boca. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Paul Joseph, also known as Preacher, of Cemetery Hill St. George's, passed away on Thursday 17th March 2022 at the age of 73. He was the husband of Vera Joseph, father of Sammy in the USA, Hazel, Wayne Hall in Canada, Simon Douglas, ASP, Natalie Douglas, Susie Whiteman, Kelroy, Titus, Timothy, Micah and Skeeter Joseph, grandfather of 21, great-grandfather of 2, brother of Martha, Evelyn in England, Mary and Naomi, Theophilus and Rufus in the USA, many nieces and nephews, many other relatives and friends including the Joseph family of Mardi Gras in the USA and England, the Douglas family of Windsor Forest, the Mitchell family of Waltham St. Mark and in Canada, the Louiseau family of Grenville Vale, the Murray family of Grand Roy, the Alexander family of Mardi Gras, the Frederick family of St. John, Wester Hall and in Canada, the Hall family in Canada, the Fortune, Victor, Alexander, Morast, Braffett and Francis families, vendors of the St. George's Market, the Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, and friends and neighbors of River Road, Cemetery Hill, Mardi Gras and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Paul Joseph, also known as Preacher, of Cemetery Hill St. George's, will take place on Thursday 14th April at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Garden of Remembrance Funeral Chapel, Cemetery Hill St. George's, according to Jehovah's Witnesses' rites, and interment will be at the Wilberforce Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Cynthia Caliste of Coast Guard St. Mark died on March 31st, 2022, at the age of 91. The funeral arrangements for the late Cynthia Caliste of Coast Guard St. Mark will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Paula Matthew of Fontenoy St. George passed away on Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, at the age of 85. The funeral arrangements for the late Paula Matthew of Fontenoy St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Anne Maria Wilson, also known as Joyce, and Miss Romaine of Monrepo, Providence, St. David, who resided at Brooklyn, Concord, St. John, passed away on Saturday, 2nd April 2022, at the age of 85. The funeral arrangements for the late Anne Maria Wilson of Monrepo, Providence, St. David, who resided at Brooklyn, Concord, St. John, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes.
Raymond Toussaint, also known as Tuss, of Pearl St. Andrew, who resided in Wester Hall, St. David, passed away on Monday, 28 March, at the age of 58. The funeral arrangements for the late Raymond Toussaint, also known as Tuss, of Pearl St. Andrew, who resided in Wester Hall, St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
Lucille Maxime, also known as Alcina Chase, of Grand Anse St. George, died on Wednesday, 23rd March 2022, at the age of 82. The funeral arrangements for the late Lucille Maxime, also known as Alcina Chase of Grand Anse St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Carlisle James, also known as Black Boy and Baggy, of Beaulieu St. George, died on Tuesday, 22nd March 2022, at the age of 69. The funeral arrangements for the late Carlisle James, also known as Black Boy and Baggy, of Beaulieu St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Daphne Joseph, also known as Dati of Latente St. David, passed away on Wednesday, 16th March 2022 at the age of 87. The funeral arrangements for the late Daphne Joseph, also known as Dati of Latente St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Edward Mordred Roberts, also known as E.M. Roberts of Belmont St. George, died on Saturday 19th March 2022 at the age of 86. The funeral arrangements for the late Edward Mordred Roberts, also known as E.M. Roberts of Belmont St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Teresa Cummings, also known as Carmen, of Beaulieu St. George, passed away on Saturday 19th March 2022 at the age of 81. The funeral arrangements for the late Teresa Cummings, also known as Carmen, of Beaulieu St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Agnes Barry, also known as Loyola, of La Fortune St. Patrick, who resided in the USA, passed away on Saturday 12th March 2022 in Canada at the age of 77. The funeral arrangements for the late Agnes Barry, also known as Loyola, of La Fortune St. Patrick, who resided in the USA, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Anita Blackett, also known as Mama Nita, of Pedmotar St. David, passed away in Trinidad at the age of 89. The funeral arrangements for the late Anita Blackett, also known as Mama Nita of Pedmotar St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Sybil Matilda Roberts, also known as Mama and Pitty, of New Hampshire St. George, passed away on Sunday 13th March 2022 at the age of 81. The funeral arrangements for the late Sybil Matilda Roberts, also known as Mama and Pitty, of New Hampshire St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Monica Cynthia Knight Martin, affectionately known as Monix, of Montmort St. George, passed away on Sunday 6th March 2022 at the age of 87. The funeral arrangements for the late Monica Cynthia Knight Martin, affectionately known as Monix of Montmort St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes.
Joseph Peterson of Chantemelle St. Patrick, who resided in the United Kingdom, passed away on Friday 25th February in the UK at the age of 87. The funeral arrangement of the late Joseph Peterson of Chantemelle St. Patrick, who resided in the United Kingdom, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. In loving memory of Peter Alexander, also known as Sir Pete of Birchgrove St. Andrew, who departed this life on 31st March 2020 at the age of 85. Remembered daily by his children Adolphus Daniel, Anselm, Alina, and Anita. Grandchildren Andia, Andre, Antoine, Tony, Tyrone, Mikali, Jakia, Jabari, Lyndon, Laurie, and Lavon. Family and friends, we knew so little that morning that God will call your name. In life we loved you dearly, in death we do the same. It broke our hearts to lose you. You did not go alone, for a part of us went with you the day God called you home. You left us beautiful memories. Your love is still our guide. And though we cannot see you, you are always by our side. Our family chain is broken and nothing seems the same. But as God calls us one by one, the chain will link again. Rest in peace.
The management and staff of MTV extend deepest condolences to those of you whose loved ones have passed on. Thanks for watching.
I am Godwill James, an MD and a member of Gateway Assembly. Medically, death is regarded as an end or a cessation of life. Different groups view death in different perspectives. While some regard death as a continuation of life, others view it as an infeeble form of life. As a Christian, we may want to view death as a separation of the soul from the body. So, whichever way one may view death, I want to say that may the gentle soul of the faithful departed rest in the bosom of the Lord. Amen.